Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel guys. I hope you're doing amazing. I'm happy to see you today for another video, and for this week's video we're gonna talk about an important topic that is I think crucial if you want to be in your French journey and learn basic vocabulary that are meaningful. We're gonna talk about the environment, l'environnement en français. First, table des matières, which is summary. So this is what we're going to talk about today. First thing is le vocabulaire de l'environnement. So we're going to see everything related to the vocabulary of the environment. Then la planète et la nature, which is planet and nature. Then we're going to focus on les problèmes, the problems or the issues. Pollution, déchets, we're going to see what it means, everything related to that. Les actions écologiques, the ecological or eco-friendly actions that we can do to try to fight some issues that we have related to the environment. Some grammar, la grammaire, with some expressions that we use, verbs that we have to use too when it's present tense, pretty easy. And last thing, phrases simple, simple phrases. And as usual, we're going to finish with some one exercise. And at the end, la correction, only once you've done it, you're going to have the comment. First thing is objectif du cours, which is the goal of this class. Apprendre le vocabulaire de base de l'environnement, meaning to learn the basic vocabulary of the environment theme. Comprendre des phrases simples, meaning to understand simple phrases. Parler de la nature et de la pollution, to talk about nature and pollution. Dire ce que tu fais pour protéger la planète. Be able to say or to tell what you do to protect the planet. I'll start right now with the vocabulary la nature, nature. Of course, to say nature, same word, la nature. A tree is un arbre, and you connect it because it starts with a vowel, un arbre. A forest is une forêt, and you really open your mouth on the S sound, une forêt. A river, une rivière, rivière. The sea, la mer, and you pronounce the R, la mer. The mountain is la montagne. Careful, not montagne, montagne, ñ sound. An animal is un animal. Starting with the vowel, I connect my N with my word animal, un animal. A plant is une plante. Sometimes a little confusing. In English, a plant, in French, une plante, or a plant in English, une plante en français. One more time. La nature, un arbre, une forêt, une rivière, la mer, la montagne, un animal, une plante. Good. Now, la planète, the planet. To say earth, la terre. La terre means earth. The world is le monde. Monde is the world. Environment, l'environnement. One more time. L'environnement. When you say it pretty fast, like in a conversation, we tend to slightly pronounce the E. L'environnement. L'environnement. We don't really say l'environnement, l'environnement. And the climate is le climat. Masculine word, so we remove the E. Le climat. One more time. La terre, le monde, l'environnement, le climat. Good. Next one. Les problèmes, meaning the problems or the issues. Pollution, la pollution, feminine. You may know that every word or the majority of the words that we have that finish with the E are feminine. It is the case for the words that finish with T-I-O-N. The majority of those words are feminine. La pollution, pollution. To say waste or trash, les déchets. Déchets. E-T makes the E sound. S is mute. Les déchets. Waste or trash. Plastic, same thing. Le plastique. But here, oh, finishing with the E, that is masculine. Careful. Le plastique, plastic. Smoke is la fumée. Fumée. E with your accent, feminine E at the end, because it's feminine. La fumée. Something that is dirty, you're going to say sale. Sale. Don't say salé, the E is mute. Sale. And the opposite, something that's clean, propre. Propre. Let's read all of that again together. La pollution, les déchets, le plastique, la fumée, sale, propre. Okay, let's move on to the les actions. To recycle, recycler, ER et sound, recycler. To sort, for example, the waste, trier. Trier is to sort. To save water, économiser l'eau. Économiser is to save. For example, same if you want to say to save money, économiser de l'argent. Here, to save water, économiser l'eau. To turn off the light, éteindre la lumière. Éteindre is to turn off, la lumière, the light. Éteindre la lumière. And to protect, protéger. G sound, protéger. One more time. Recycler. Trier. Économiser l'eau. Éteindre la lumière. Protéger. Now, let's focus a little bit on the grammar, la grammaire. When it comes to sometimes some different types of topics, we want to describe it. If you want to describe it, you can say there is or there are. For example, it's the same word. If you want to say there is pollution, there are trees, you keep the same, which is il y a. Il y a means both. There is or there are. And then it's the pronoun that you're going to use after il y a that's going to let us know if it's singular or plural. For example, if I want to say there's pollution in the city, il y a de la pollution, some pollution, some is de la pollution, pollution féminine, in the city, dans la ville. There is some pollution in the city, il y a de la pollution dans la ville. It's singular and feminine because of pollution that is feminine. If I want to say there are some trees in the park, plural, il y a, same thing, des arbres, some trees, plural, dans le parc. Now, the useful verbs that we use present tense. Verbes utiles au présent. Protéger. Protéger means to protect. Je protège. I protect. Recycler. To recycle. Je recycle. Jeter is to throw. Careful this one. If it's the verb to throw, jeter has one T. When you conjugate it to say je, tu, il ou elle, you put the double T. Je jette. Je jette. We add the double T because of the pronunciation. The fact of putting double T makes the first E a sound. Je jette. Exemple. Je recycle le plastique. I recycle plastic. Nous protégeons la nature. We protect nature. And you always put the right ending. It's always the same ending for the verbs ER first group. You already know it. And if you're not familiar with the ER verbs and their endings, feel free to watch one of our previous videos about it. Okay, now some simple phrases simples. La nature est importante. Here it's your moment to try to practice the pronunciation and be able to read it fully with the links, with the mute vowels that we have sometimes. So try to pronounce it the same way and same speed as me. La nature est importante. And you pronounce your T from E with importante. Connect it. La nature est importante. And I pronounce my last T from important because it's in front of the mute E. So I do pronounce it. La nature est importante. Il y a beaucoup de pollution. Beaucoup, finishing with a P, mute. One more time. Il y a beaucoup de pollution. Je protège l'environnement. Nous recyclons les déchets. Déchets. Can you see here the pronunciation and the difference between the two E sound? First one is the E with the high accent. It's the E sound. E.T. makes the eh sound. Déchets. Dropping my mouth. Nous recyclons les déchets. La ville est sale. Okay. You can always try to pronounce it, repeat it just to make sure that you're comfortable with the pattern of the vowels that we have sometimes and all the links that we need to make. Now, usual little exercise for you. You have to tell me if you think those phrases are true or false. Vrai ou faux. I made you some phrases here. Do they make sense or not? If it makes sense, you say vrai. If it's weird, you say faux. We're going to read it together for the pronunciation, and then I'm going to let you do your exercise. 1. La pollution est bonne pour la planète. Vrai ou faux? Recycler aide l'environnement. Aide means help or helps. Les déchets sont toujours propres. Il faut protéger la nature. Éteindre la lumière est écologique. Do my link. Est écologique. Le plastique est bon pour la mer. Les arbres sont importants pour la planète. Jeter les déchets dans la rue est une bonne action. You see how every time when my word starts with my vowel, I'm going to pronounce my last consonant? Try to do that every time. Okay, of course, if you want to practice on the pronunciation, little tip, you always try to pronounce word by word just to make sure you got your word right. And then once you're more comfortable, you can try to connect it. For example, let's try to pick one that has this little link. For example, éteindre la lumière est écologique. If you want to practice that, make sure you pronounce each word in the right way. Éteindre la lumière est écologique. You see that EST has the same sound as my A with the accent. Et écologique. But now, when I say that, you see that when I say et écologique, because I have two vowel sounds, I need to stop my sound to repronounce the second one. Otherwise, I cannot make it. Et écologique. And we don't want that. So if you want to sound a little smoother, just try to pronounce the same way, but you're going to pronounce your E plus your T with the following word. Et écologique. Éteindre la lumière est écologique. So now when I say that, it sounds super smooth. One more time. Les arbres sont importants pour la planète. One more time. Les arbres sont importants, don't pronounce the S, pour la planète. Now, you try to see all the words that start with a vowel and take the previous consonant from the word before. Les arbres sont importants pour la planète. And now you see when I say that, there's no break in the pattern. Les arbres sont importants pour la planète. Okay. Once you wrote out of those phrases, tell me if they're vrai ou faux. Do they make sense or not? And if you are, what you can do is try to tell me why some of them are false. Try to correct them. If they're true, they're true. If they're false, try to maybe change the word to make the phrase right. Because here sometimes the word is not the right one. That's why it's false. And that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please don't forget to put a little thumbs up or a little comment. It's always so good to see. And if you want to practice even more on those vocabulary, this specific theme, do the challenges that we offer you each week. They're super great. I think it's a good exercise to practice your oral understanding and your vocabulary. So if you're interested in that, don't forget to always send us a little message. We'll be happy to give you the link so that you can practice even more. I hope that you guys like this video. I'm wishing you all a good end of your week, and I'm seeing you next week for another video. Salut!